Well, after a runaway win against the top team, Connecticut, on Wednesday night, the Phoenix Mercury had to play a little longer and a little harder against the pesky Chicago Sky team out of the Eastern Conference. Both teams entering with a 3-6 record, and it looked like Chicago might get their first ever win against the Phoenix Mercury. But leave it to the league's top two scorers to make sure that did not happen. Diana Taurasi, spectacular back-to-back 30-plus point games from DT, 33, threw in 10 rebounds and 4 block shots. And then you have the league's top scorer in Cappie Pondexter, who delivered 31. Great moments from Nicole Willingham, and Barb Farris sent it to overtime with a great shot. This team looks like they're beginning to come together under first-year head coach Corey Gaines. They had to go to overtime, but they get it, back-to-back wins. And the all-important getaway game as well, because what lies ahead? A 13-day, 5-game road trip all back east. But it won't be all work. There will be a little bit of play. In fact, the Mercury will get to play at the White House. That's right, coming up on Monday, a visit to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, where the 2007 WNBA champs will be honored and recognized by the President of the United States. You want to make sure you check in here on PhoenixMercury.com. But enough about that. We got a big big overtime win to talk about as Phoenix takes down the Chicago Sky tonight. We're going to head into the locker room and get some comments from Coach Corey Gaines and some of the players as Phoenix wins it. What a night here at the U.S. Airways Center. The Mercury, as we mentioned, had to put in a little extra work tonight, but well worth it. First-year head coach Corey Gaines joins us as your club picks up a hard-fought overtime win. This Chicago Sky team played, I think, the way that a lot of people thought they might all season long.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. Last year, this year, they like the up-tempo because they have athletes who get to the basket, who like the up-tempo type of game. They don't let them play that way, so against us, they almost enjoy it. But the one thing that's in our favor is we do practice that way every day. And if we do it every day and they do it just every time they play against us, like in that overtime, they got tired. And we just kept on going. I told the players, I said, if it goes into overtime, we'll prevail because we're in condition and we're in shape to do that.
And they also don't have a player named Taurasi or Pondexter.
No. I got 2 assassins right there. One who gets to the basket and one pulls up for threes on the break. But they were in the flow, and Cappie didn't start off too well, but I knew Cappie. She's a soldier. She always finishes the games off for me.
How about the play, though? Nicole Willingham really looks like she's beginning to get a grasp of the system, to get a feel for her new teammates. And, of course, we can't overlook the contribution of Barb Farris. I mean, it was her offensive putback that forced the overtime period.
Well, Tange went down and got, fouled out of the game, and Barb went in and did a job. She's doing little things, and she's setting good picks, getting offensive rebounds, putbacks, hits her free throws. She's a veteran player. You can see that. And Cole, what can I say about Cole? She's running the floor hard every time. That's how D and Cappie are getting open. She's going down the floor in the middle. Defense has to go with her, and my shooters are on the outside.
Well, we're handing out some credit. We got to give you some credit as well. I know you'd said a few days ago, after that stinging loss, you'd said, you know what? I got to look at myself. Maybe I'm overcoaching here. Talk about the change in a philosophy from you, where you've really kind of given this team to the ability to think and react with what's going on the floor.
Well, there's a list. I've learned this from Coach Westhead. There's a list, and it has 4 items on it. I won't say the items, but you have to checklist each thing on that list, and you have to say if you're doing it or if you're not doing it, and then you have to say why aren't you doing it. And you always look at yourself first. Coach always said you always look at yourself first. You don't blame anyone. You always look at yourself in the mirror. And on the checklist, one of the things was, are you calling too many plays? I looked at myself and I said, yes, I'm calling too many plays. Had a meeting with D and Cappie. I said, I'll take the blame on that. It's my fault. I got you guys running and I'm slowing you down. I'm slowing you down. I'll change that. So hopefully I solved the problem.
Well, and it certainly looks like it has paid off with Kelly Miller, too, because we've seen her in back-to-back games really look like she's got a better feel for what's going on out there on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you got to be true to yourself. And my job is to put them in positions to score, to have good games, to do their correct thing. What I was doing, I think, might have been hampering them. And I'm not afraid to say that. Everybody makes mistakes. You just have to make sure you catch those mistakes fast.
Yeah. Well, you did. A nice win. Big getaway win. You head back east. You got your suit ready for the White House?
I'm ready. I'm ready to see the big man. Big man in the big White House.
Also ready to see a few more wins, I'm sure.
Hopefully. I mean, with this, we should bounce on this and keep on going. We got some tough games. But the energy level, the confidence, it's always building.
Thanks for the visit, Coach.
All right.
There you have it, Corey Gaines. Big overtime win. Time to head back east. You can check it all out here on PhoenixMercury.com.
great momentum builder. We're going on this East Coast trip, so we definitely needed that kind of confidence to send us off on our way. But I mean, just a great game and just another amazing show by Cappie and Diana.
And your shot, talk about your shot at the end of regulation, they sent it to overtime.
Yeah, I mean, Cappie, if she gets to the basket, you gotta help. So I figured if the post helps, they won't. If they need to box out, they won't be able to see me. So I have an advantage if I crash the board. They can't see me crashing. So I just got lucky, gathered myself, and was able to put it back in.
Unique situation for you being on a team that won the championship last year. Talk about your role on this team and how you fit in so far this year.
I think just he says if you open, shoot. I mean, definitely. We run a lot of plays. I mean, we don't really run a lot of plays. We just run up and down the floor trying to score in transition and looking for the open players, spacing things out, just playing basketball. So, I mean, I just try and get in there, set good screens, and if you set a good enough screen, you eventually get yourself open. Plus, you know, Diana and Cappie demand so much attention on the offensive ends where they end up leaving us open sometimes and develop a little jump shot.
And a getaway game tonight. Get on the bus early tomorrow morning to head out east. A big trip for this team.
Definitely heading back to New York tomorrow, so get some of my old teammates and just trying to get some wins and then meet Mr. Bush.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit. That's got to be really exciting to be going to the White House and meeting the president.
Yeah, I met him before when I won the championship with Detroit, so that was a lot of fun. I guess this will be his send-off, you know, the last WNBA team that he'll say hello and goodbye to. So just a tremendous honor and just looking very forward to this trip.
Chicago did a great job of just coming out and playing hard, and we're going to see those guys again. But I think this win will help us go on the road, you know, especially because it's going to be a long road trip. So looking forward to it.
Talk about the last couple of games. This team really seems to be gelling and the chemistry coming along.
I think so. I think the players are starting to understand the system a little more, their roles, and you know, just kind of playing off D&I. And I think it makes it a lot easier when we read off each other and just play exciting basketball and a lot of energy.
Huge shot from Barbara Farris there at the end of regulation. Talk about how much she's done for this team and contributing.
Practice, and she's always giving 100%. You know, I knew that shot was going to go in because, you know, she does it over and over again. She's very consistent in what she does. That rebound put back was huge, and it allowed us to go in overtime to get the win.
It's a getaway game too, a huge road trip coming on back here at early morning for an early morning trip. Talk about what this trip means to this team.
This trip is going to be great. It's going to allow us to gel. We're going to be around each other for 2 weeks. You know, right now we're 4-6, and we easily can close in or let it get away from us. So I think that is really where we're going to have to fight hard on the road. And you know, this is where champions are made at. You know, on the road, getting victories, and that's what we're trying to do.
Start out in New York, and then you go to Washington with a trip to the White House. Talk about what that's going to mean.
Great, it's good. You know, and then see George Bush. So it's going to be a good road trip. Then I go back to Chicago, which is going to be good. Finish it off in Atlanta, see some friends down there, come back home July 2nd. So.
All right, you have a great trip and get some wins, all right?
Thank you. See you guys.